Here we go. So Trump to decide on whether the U.S. will directly attack Iran within 2 weeks. Within 2 weeks. Here it is.
Karoline. President Trump has said previously in regard to Russia, he's used this phrase about 2 weeks several times in terms of like, we expect like a 2-week deadline and then you give another 2-week deadline. How can we be sure that he's going to stick to this one on making a decision on Iran?
Well, in those deadlines, as you've seen in respect to Russia, Ukraine, might I add, these are two very different, complicated global conflicts, as you know, that the president inherited.
Put it up for a mass. Okay. So Donald Trump said Thursday he will decide within 2 weeks whether the U.S. military will get directly involved in the conflict between Israel and Iran, given the, quote, substantial chance for renewed negotiations over Tehran's nuclear program as the two sides attack one another for now the 7th day. Trump has been weighing whether to attack Iran by striking its well-defended uranium enrichment facility, Fordo, which is buried under a mountain widely considered to be out of reach of all but America's bunker buster bombs. Earlier in the day, Israel's defense minister threatened Iranian supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, after Iranian missiles crashed into a major hospital in southern Israel and hit residential buildings near Tel Aviv, wounding at least 240 people. Israel's military, quote, has been instructed and knows that in order to achieve all its goals, this man absolutely should not continue to exist. And that's what the defense minister said from Israel, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Here we go. He trusted that Trump would, quote, do what's best for America. Speaking from the rubble and shattered glass around the Soroka Medical Center in BEERSHEBA, he added, quote, I can tell you that they're already helping a lot, end quote. The new diplomatic initiative appeared to be underway as Iran's foreign minister appeared to travel Friday to Geneva for meetings with the European Union's top diplomat and counterparts from the United Kingdom, France, and also Germany. Britain's foreign secretary said he met with the White House. He met with U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and envoy Steve Witkoff to discuss the potential for a deal that could cool the conflict. Here's a reminder. The open conflict between Israel and Iran erupted last Friday with a surprise wave of airstrikes from Israel, and it targeted the nuclear and military sites. So top generals and nuclear scientists, at least 657 people, including 263 civilians, have been killed in Iran and more than 2,000 wounded, according to a Washington-based Iranian human rights group. The conflict continues. Now, Netanyahu is on a warpath. He did not go to war with Palestinians. He just simply slaughtered them. They were never at war with Palestinians. The average age of a Palestinian in Gaza, 19.1 years of age. These are children. They're non-combatant. Well, that wasn't enough. Appetite extended. And so all of these are proxies. Interestingly enough, the same people who voted Donald Trump in would say Trump is going to make America great again by keeping us out of foreign affairs, by keeping us out of foreign wars, by making sure that America has the money that we're giving to all of these foreign nations. No, he took money from you. He eliminated your federal jobs, not Israel. He stopped your checks from coming. All right. Hell of a thing. War is never a necessary evil. It is never a required framework. Don't let them make that case for you. All right. Dear brother, thoughts?
Well, Karoline Leavitt said that the Ukraine-Russia war and the Iran-Israel war are two separate things that Trump inherited, and she's right. He inherited them from himself. Ukraine and Russia, he inherited because he emboldened Putin by siding with him on several things and making basically nodding and winking to Putin that, if you do something, we're not gonna get involved. So that was that. And then the Iran-Israel issue. I'm Iranian American, and I will tell you, first of all, the people of Iran have been suffering under the leaders of Iran for almost 50 years. It's a brutal regime. They're a horrible regime. That said, we had what was called the nuclear deal in 2015 that Donald Trump pulled out of, which then led to Iran getting closer to developing a nuclear weapon. And then most recently, Donald Trump claimed that he was going to have another deal with the Iranians that was going to be a nuclear deal, which for all intents and purposes was the same deal that we had that he got out of, except now the Iranians were closer to getting a nuclear weapon. Now, once again, the Iranian government is not a trustworthy government. They've lied to the world several times, many times. However, we find ourselves now in a situation where the Iranians aren't going to trust the Americans anymore, because they're going to say, first of all, you pulled out of our first agreement. And then this second time, we're getting ready to negotiate with you, and you bomb us the day before. You basically played a bait and switch. You kept us coming, and then the bombs rained down on us, and you knew that they were coming. And so we have created this situation that is a horrible situation, and my heart just suffers for the people of Iran, again, who've suffered 50 years under this brutal regime, and now they're suffering under Bibi's bombs. And the people of Israel who are suffering, and the people of Gaza who are suffering. And meanwhile, our leaders, whose job is to solve problems, are creating more problems. And let's not forget that they have their own problems. Bibi has a big problem in Israel where he's committed criminal acts that he could be held accountable for if he comes out of that government. And so these distractions are also something that selfishly keep him out of trouble. He's been saying that Iran's been a week away from a bomb for the past 15, 20 years. He's been trying to go to war with Iran for the past 15, 20 years. He's been trying to get America involved to go to war with Iran for the past 15, 20 years. And he finally found a president who was gullible enough to buy into it. And now Trump has painted himself into a corner, and he's got to do one of two things. And if he takes us into a war, as you've seen with Tucker Carlson and Steve Bannon and others on the right saying, yo, you're supposed to keep us out of wars, but he may end up taking us into a war. And this may be another one of our failed missions in the Middle East. We were in Afghanistan for 20 years and the Taliban got it back. How many people died in Iraq? I don't know. Iraq is now, by the way, a proxy for Iran. If you really want to look at the strategy, when the Bush administration went into Iraq, they did Iran a favor, because until the Bush administration went into Iraq, the leadership was Saddam Hussein. It was Sunni, and a majority of the population was Shiite. And once they overthrew Saddam Hussein, who again was a brutal dictator, the leadership became Shiite, and they became a proxy of Iran. And so America did Iran a favor by doing that. It's amazing to me, Dr. Richey, how often these leaders take actions without thinking about the day after. For 2 years now, Netanyahu has been saying they have a reason that they keep killing Palestinians. And we have not seen a resolution. We're not closer to resolution. Every day there's tens and hundreds killed. The hostages haven't been returned. So what is your plan? There is no plan. So what is the plan in Iran if you go and bombard a city like Tehran that has one of the biggest populations of a city in the world? And they're telling these folks, you need to evacuate by tomorrow. And most of these folks don't have places to go. Gas is limited. Internet is limited. They're stuck between an external force and an internal force. The internal force as well is not capable. They weren't prepared for something like this. So the people of Iran, are suffering, and my heart goes out to them. My heart goes out to all the other victims in the other countries, and it's a horrible, horrible situation. And I hope that cooler heads prevail, and we can walk ourselves back from the brink of World War III.
I had a friend who posed the question to me a couple of days ago, dear brother, and said, "Are we on the brink of World War III?" And I told her what I'm going to say here. There are some who would say yes, and others would say no, or not yet. Wars are shadows. Wars are shadows. The true war starts in the mind. The people of these nations, they're not at odds with each other. Their leaders are. Because the people from those nations actually are in this country. We see them, we communicate, we have friends, we get along just fine. So it is not a conflict of people. It is a conflict of those people, the leaders of the people today. So the conflict is in the mind. The war, the physical carnage, is the shadow. So my encouragement to everyone who has that question, you hold in your mind a vision of light and prosperity for this nation, yourself, and beyond. It will never be a World War III if you do that.